Welcome to Leveraging Leadership, where we unpack the art of business leadership. I'm your host, Emily Sander, C-suite executive turned leadership coach. And today's topic is feedback. Next up, we have some general guidelines just to keep in mind with feedback. The first one is address issues or problems in private, and then praise and recognition in public. So of course, there's exceptions to the rule, but in general, that's a good guideline to go by. So if someone has a problem and you have to do some corrective actions with them, the all company meeting is not a good setting to do that in. In front of the client is not a good setting to do that in. Conversely, if you're wanting to sing the praises of someone and shout that from the rooftops, then maybe the team meeting, the all company meeting, or maybe a group Slack channel is the appropriate place to praise someone. Second one, give feedback in as real time as possible. So meaning as close to the event as possible. So if they did something that, we want to go a little bit different direction next time, make sure you're saying that to that person as soon as you can. So as soon as appropriate, but as soon as you can. The opposite of this is waiting 9 months for the next performance review and hearkening back to something they did 9 months ago, and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, and I didn't have time to change what I was doing for 9 months. So just make sure you're saying something as close to when they take an action as possible. On the flip side, if someone's doing something really well, I've had times where they're like, my team member is killing it on like a client call, and I'm slacking them like, you're doing awesome, like you answered that question so well, and they can pick that up in almost real time. Number 3, speak for yourself. Use phrases like I saw or I'm concerned about, and try to avoid things like people are saying or everyone thinks, because that's one, you're assuming that and you're projecting that. And 2, people tend to get a little defensive when it's like everyone thinks this. They're not going to hear that message or hear that feedback very well. Number 4, emphasize how someone's actions affect the team. First part of this is people often don't realize how their behaviors are affecting other people. And so when you tell them, they might go, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that Maria felt like that when I said that thing. So they might not be aware of it. The other part of this is people don't like to let other people down, especially if they enjoy being on the team and the team means a lot to them. If someone feels like they're not pulling their weight, people will move mountains. People will go above and beyond to try to correct that or try to do something differently. So emphasize how actions affect the team. Obviously, this goes the other way too. So tell them what about their action is affecting the team positively, and they'll get a whole bunch of endorphins and they'll feel good about that. I'm a team player and I'm helping people. So on both sides, just emphasize how actions affect the team overall. Number 5, be sincere. And I've seen people who give feedback in almost an overly robotic way. And they say, well, Emily, I know I'm supposed to take emotion out of this. And like, yes and no. So you don't want to like shoot daggers out of your mouth, right? And like just tear someone down or give feedback when you're angry. That can be another point here. But you also don't want to strip all of the emotion out of it, because human beings run on emotion. So when you're sincere and you say, hey, I was really upset when you raised your voice in that meeting the other day. Like that actually really concerned me because I know you and you're not like that. So tell me what's going on here. Things like that, where there might be some emotion or even strong emotion attached to something, but people will connect with you being authentic and you being real about the situation. Okay, the next one, number 6, be specific. And this is a huge one. I cannot emphasize this enough. So be specific with your feedback. Another way to say that is, can someone go and action what you've said to them? Does someone have a specific action they can go take and do something differently or continue to do something? A quick example here would be if someone, like you said, hey, make 50 copies of this thing and get it to me by noon, and they only make 25 copies, the feedback you give, dude, like, stop being so lazy and stupid. Make me the freaking 50 copies. Well, there's not a lot that someone can do with that. Maybe like they're inherently lazy or stupid. I don't know. Instead, what you could say is, hey, we talked about 50 copies by noon. I see 25 here. So if you could go make 25 more and bring them to me, that would be great. So, okay, this maybe inherently lazy, stupid person can go make 25 more copies because you've been specific about the action you want them to take. It also makes me think of the supermarkets. This might be old school, but like at grocery stores back in the day, they had the little suggestion boxes at the door, and so you could like write on a card and slip it in the box. And if you think about being the manager of that store and reading those cards, could you do anything with someone's suggestion? So it might be like the first person writes, "Your supermarket sucks." The end. Okay, well, great. Like, thank you for taking the time to give me feedback, but there's not a lot I can do with that. But if a second person says, "Hey, your supermarket sucks. There was dirt on aisle 4 and you were out of eggs. I love eggs. I eat them for breakfast. Can you please contact me when you have eggs? Here's my info." Okay, well, it's still a negative report, but at least I can do something about that. Like, Johnny, like over here, I clean up on aisle 4. And like, as soon as we get eggs in, can you please contact this customer? They want to come in and buy some more eggs. Okay, so that's more specific. That's more actionable. So one more I'll share. This is me. This is me doing bad at this. So I was in charge of a marketing team for a period of time, and I was gap filling until someone else got there. And one of my meetings I would have would be with graphic designers who were super creative and like were making all these great designs for web pages and videos we were doing and graphics for social media and things like this. And I was trying to be encouraging and also give feedback. And I was like, I like these designs, but maybe for this one and this one, we could just change it up a little bit and make it pop more. So like in your next round of revisions, next time we meet, if you could just make these pop more and show me what you come up with, that would be great. And later on in one of my one-on-ones with one of the graphic designers, I was like, "Hey, so-and-so, can you give me some feedback on, how things are going? And I know this is new for me being in graphic design. Is there anything I could be doing better or anything I could be doing differently?" And he said, at first he was like, "No, like everything's going fine overall. Yep." But you could kind of tell there was something more. And I was like, no. Like if there's something else, then please tell me. And he paused and then he said, "No one knows what you mean when you say make it pop." And we all like meet up afterwards and try to figure out what you're trying to do. Is it like different colors? Is it more vibrant colors? Is it like the opacity? Is it the font size? Like what makes it pop for Emily? And I was like, oh my goodness, you're right. That is super vague feedback, and like make it pop is super subjective. So we went on to discuss like actually giving me some words in like graphic designer language to describe what I meant by make it pop. So anyway, that's an example of how I had to learn how to be more specific with my feedback. Okay, number 7 is repeating positive feedback. So if someone continues to do something well, keep letting them know that you appreciate their efforts in this area. And I remember there was a cartoon about this that was kind of funny. And it was a cartoon of this old couple, and they were sitting at a table. And the wife says, "You never tell me you love me anymore." And the husband says, "You know I love you. I told you 20 years ago." So same thing here is like if you told someone once, you can stand to tell them again a few times if they're continuing to do something well and if you're continuing to love what they do. Number 8, okay, so this is an important one as well. If something egregious is happening, like something negative, like is going down, you can skip the feedback and just like exit that person. So like this is to the level of if someone is attacking someone else or if someone is lighting their like company computer on fire, don't sit there and try to give them a compliment sandwich. Like call security and like exit the innocent people out of the building and like get to safety. So if it's egregious and it's broken the threshold of like, okay, we've kind of gone outside of the professional, normal business realm, just deal with that separately. You can skip the feedback. Okay, next one is if you don't have the time to like construct and formulate this whole beautiful compliment sandwich or go through all the steps of like situation, behavior, impact, and need, and you just have time to say like, good job, then say good job versus nothing. And hopefully follow it up with some specifics on how that connected to, why it was good and how that helped the team and all of those types of things. But if it's between saying good job and saying nothing, then obviously throw in a little good job to someone.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.